Digitising industry is a high priority for this European Commission. It is vital for maintaining and stimulating growth. This is why it features strongly in our plans to build a digital single market. Today's package of initiatives sets out our vision for European industry within the digital single market. It will give industry the chance to be at the cutting edge of technological progress. To get ahead, to prepare for the future by removing barriers of the past and the present. Concretely, this is about leveraging investment to digitize European industry, 50 billion euros over 5 years, making it easier for businesses to interact with administrations across borders, and giving out information once only. Strengthening trust in cloud services for SMEs, building infrastructure for data analytics in Europe, coordinating national industry strategies to get the best effect on the ground, making standard setting a strategic priority for Europe, and creating a seamless plug and play environment for the Internet of Things within the digital single market. This package is about creating the right environment for our industry's digital future. It will make sure that every industry in Europe can get the full benefit from digital innovation. Whichever sector, whatever size, wherever the location. As with the digital single market itself, our plans to digitize industry are a starting point, not the finishing line.
A pleasure to be here with my colleagues Andres and Gunther, because my role today is more to talk about science in a digital world. And if you think about what science is today, science is about collaboration, and collaboration is basically about data, what we're talking today. It's very interesting when you think about the fact that in 1911, 1912, when Einstein wrote his paper about general relativity, he was the only author of that paper. And 100 years later, today, when we detected the gravitational waves, which are basically the proof that Einstein was right, that same really discovery was a paper that was wrote by more than 1,000 scientists. So that means that science today is about collaboration, and that science has changed in these 100 years. And what's the raw material for that collaboration? In my view, that raw material is data. So when last week I visited the Heidelberg Bioinformatics Institute, it was very interesting to have a conversation about the fact that that institute in Heidelberg, because they opened up all the data for people to look freely, they are today benefiting society with more than 1 billion euros per year of impact in economic impact. And there I had a fantastic conversation with one of the scientists there that was telling me he's making this parallel in between what in physics you call the dark matter, matter that you don't see, that you know very little about, with data. And he was saying there's this dark matter of data. And I think that what today my colleagues here, which are leading the way on unlocking the potential of that dark matter of data, because most of the data today is locked in literature, is locked on the papers, and we have to unlock that data. So how do you do it, and what are here, in terms of science, our role? The first is to create what we call the science cloud, the open science cloud. This was a request by the community. In Europe, you have more than 1.7 million scientists, and if you look at the people that work in science, you have there more than 70 million professionals. And they asked us for the need of having a science cloud. And that's not just about having a science cloud that is in Europe or is made in Europe, it's because they need the services for that cloud. They need the text and data mining. They need to be trained. They need actually to build data management plans. And so the idea is the idea of getting in Europe the best technology for a science cloud. I think this is a major step into the future of this unlocking the potential of data, because we will actually have the science cloud. The second point that my colleague Günther Oettinger was raising is about the fact that if you think about 90% of the data produced in the world actually was produced in the last 2 years. And how do you manage that data? How do you actually process that data? How do you make that data talk to each other? And I think the answer is twofold. Is what my colleague was referring, the supercomputing. And the supercomputing, just I think that it's important for people to understand. You're talking about 1 billion operations per second. That's 1,000 times more than a supercomputer today. And that's something that we really have to invest for the future. But then there's something else that is beyond that, which is quantum computing. And that's going like we went in classical physics to the quantum physics. It's solving problems that you don't even dare to imagine that they exist, and you cannot solve it with the classical way of today. So these are the two pillars. And third, I think that it's about us giving the example. In Horizon 2020, going forward, our objective is that we share freely data, that the data should be open by default. So if you have a project in Horizon 2020, our objective here is that that data should be open by default. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is about really a world that went from physical to digital, and today is the digital influencing the physical, and the project of today, the cloud, is just a tool to unlock all that potential.